It's not a Viggen. Call it a Viggen one more time.
But it looks like a Viggen.
I totally forgot this weekend was Easter. So that means it's hard to get any other Saab things set up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the details on this car out of the way. The story with this car is I found it in Colorado. Here's the original ad to prove it. Did I pay asking price? Yes, because I did not have a lot of leverage. I don't live in Colorado. I called this guy up, I told him I wanted it. How do you want your money? I sent this gentleman X amount of dollars and trusted in him to make sure it gets on the truck that I send to him that's going to bring the car to me. And he did it. Praise Jeebus. Why was I so adamant about getting this car? 4 key reasons. Number 1, it is in cosmic blue, which is one of the more popular colors that you can get on this version 9.3. 2, it is a 5-speed manual transmission. Yes. 3, it has the correct amount of doors. And the fourth reason, I don't know if you can see it from here if you know Saabs very well, but this is a 1999. It is the first year that the 9.3 came out. 94 to 98, there was a Saab 900. And it had a specific engine and transmission management system performance thing. In 1999, they took the 900 and upgraded a lot of stuff that Saab claims. A lot of it we can't even see. But the one thing they did not change was the performance and the management system. It's the same engine as the 900. So it's kind of like buying an NG 900, but already upgraded. However, in the year 2000, Saab changed the engine. Also with changing the engine was the management system. But the point is the engines are very similar. Now there are some facts on this, or maybe it's just my opinion, how I feel about that particular engine over the newer engine is that this one is better. Why is it better? Because this engine can just handle more of a beating. It can handle a little more horsepower. They just in general have less problems. Anyways, that's why I love this car, because there's not many of these. I actually looked it up, and they only sold 21 of these in the United States. Now when I say 21, I mean this color, this year, those amount of doors, that transmission, that engine, just that, like, for someone to have identically the same car as me, there's only 20 other ones somewhere in this country. Now clearly there is something different about this car, so let's take a walk around at a few things that I've done. Now, one of the first things I did, which I can't really show you, I had lowered the vehicle. The front on these cars, the suspension is weird. I've worked on a lot of vehicles, and then I came across this thing. Given I don't have a garage and I had to sell a lot of my tools because of space and only one parking spot, I didn't want to fight it, so I paid someone to put on my springs on the front end. The rears are easy though. You can do that. So just FYI, this car is lowered on Coney shocks and springs. I think they were both the same. They were yellow. If that helps. How much did it lower it? I don't know. I mean, at first I thought I didn't lower it at all, but I mean, I used to be able to get, like, from the tire to the fender. I used to be able to get my whole hand in there. But let's see about now. About 2.5. If I really wanted to push it, I could get 3. Okay, that's that. Let's move on to the stuff that you actually can see. The next big thing I did was what do we call it? The SE kit, the special edition kit. These kits came on the SE version of the 2000 to 2002 Saab 9.3s. Now there was 2003 models, but I'm pretty sure they were all convertible and they were different than that one, even though it was called an SE. So anyways, if you had a 2000 to 2002 Saab 9.3 Special Edition or SE model, you got this color matched skirt lip thing going on around the whole car instead of plain black. Now, try to stay with me here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. In the USA, if you had an SE version of the Saab 9.3 between 2000 and 2002 with this right here with this stuff, you either had a 4-door or 5-door if you want to count the hatch, or a convertible. No 2-door or 3-door came as an SE here in the United States. So I guess what I'm saying is there are no 2-door, 3-door SE versions with this kit in the United States. So what you're seeing here, you'll most likely never see on the road unless somebody did what I did and took this kit from another car and put it on a base model. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, putting these on were not easy. A couple reasons why. Number one, we'll start with the back. And what I have to say about the back applies to the front as well. Pretend there's another lip, another one of these behind it. But it's only like that low. That other piece behind it is part of this bumper. It doesn't come off. Now, when you have a 2000 to 2002 car with this kit on it, if you were to take this off, you would see little slots for this guy to slide into and clip into. Okay, that's how this guy stays on. However, my car was a base model, and that black extra piece or whatever that's part of the bumper did not have any slots. So I had to measure and line up where the little teeth from this thing that go in, where exactly I needed to drill to get that lined up. And it was not easy. Not at all. So, and just trying to fit it and keep it flat. Like, look here, okay. See how smooth it is, or not smooth, but and dirty. But you see the gap, I guess, between the two pieces. Now look at it open up. Okay, that's focus, punk. Yeah, see it open up there? It was hard to get that to stick. And look over here. This piece right here is so flimsy. There's no support here. So, it's right where it gets hot too. Whatever. Anyway, it was not easy. So I would advise, how do I adjust this thing? I would advise, if you're gonna put on an SE kit on your base model car, grab the whole bumper. Grab the whole front bumper and the whole rear bumper and swap the entire thing. Because just trying to swap the SE kit on your base bumper, no. Now for the side skirt, because that's kind of a different story. Of course, the side skirts can bolt up easy, no problem, if you get the same amount of doors on the same car. I had bought a, what was it? It was a 2001 or a 2002 Saab 9.3 that happened to be the same color as my car. So I was like, yes! But it came in a 4-door / 5-door. And that changes things because, I'll show you. All right, this is my 5th time doing this take. Let me try again. This black piece trim needs to come off. Underneath it, you'll see a bunch of little threaded studs. And what happens is that this skirt has little loophole things that you put into the studs. And I don't think you fasten it down. I think you just put this back on and it holds it there like that. And that's the same setup for the front and back doors for the four-door cars. However, I don't have a back door. So how does this part hook up? Well, underneath this, there's like a plastic trim piece that there's like a plastic piece that bolts to the frame itself, and then another plastic piece that bolts to this, and they bolt together. I honestly don't know, but okay. I just did not do that. But I still had to take care of this problem. Just imagine this black piece, right? You take it off, it's another blue piece part like it attached to the skirt that keeps going. So right around here, I had to cut and trim all of this off the skirt, just completely remove it. So this back part's only being held on by underneath holes, underneath the actual skirt to the frame. I think there's one right here, like a little plastic cap that's holding it on. And as far as here, it's double-sided tape. Yep, that's what you can kind of see right there. Right there, the trim quality. So, also, the holes underneath the car did not line up either. So the 2-door and 4-door have different locations mostly. With that said, another lesson learned. You're gonna take an SE kit and put it on your car. Make sure it has the same amount of doors, as if not, you're gonna be doing some heavy cutting and modifying to make it fit. The only reason I did it is because it's the same color, okay? I bought that spare car for $400. I took the kit off and I sold the car back out for $400. So I didn't lose any money putting this kit on. That's the only reason I went through this. Otherwise, don't do it. Get the same amount of doors. If it's the front or rear bumper, take the whole bumper. Don't take just that part if you have a base model that you're trying to upgrade. Let's get to this front lip that everybody's asking about. This lip is off. Well, it's not off a car because it doesn't come factory on a car, but it belongs to an Acura Integra. We've come to call it the ITR lip. It's I guess for Integra Type R. You can find it on Amazon, eBay, any of the quad headlight Integra, any of those front lips will fit this car with little modification to like just the fitment, but actually mounting it to the car takes a bit of effort. Like I just got done explaining with the SE kit in the back, the back lower lip, how you have to have like certain sections cut out, slot holes for the slots of the actual lip to fit into. You have to do the same thing with this one. Now, if you already have a 2000 or newer Saab 9.3, you take your original front little baby lip off, you'll see that you already have tabs or slots for a front lip. I think you can salvage some of those for an Integra lip, because the way it works is the Integra lip doesn't have tabs that slot in. They don't the lip doesn't even mount that way on an Integra. This whole piece right here where it ends, there was a lot more to it. There was more that went over that would like reach inside the bumper. I had to cut all that off, but I had to do it like this, like right. And then I got to go up, so I had a slot to use to put into the bumper. So I had to go, go around. I had to make slots to go into the bumper. It feels like it's very hard to explain. I couldn't even explain it to one of my buddies. So I checked, and I do have some video and I think some pictures of it from a long time ago when I was working on it. So I'm gonna insert that here and you guys can look at that. Okay, so you can see what's going on here. This black piece is part of the bumper, it's not a separate lip. So I had to cut a hole there and make a tab to go in it. And what I did is I gooped all that. And you can see I gooped every single tab that came through. Now, some of them I made too much of a hole in the bumper and the goop seeped through and sealed on the other side, so it looked like part of the tab. Alright, so here's a clear picture. Holes. slots. Right here, it used to reach down a little bit further, and that it was enough to touch the ground and mess up this whole thing going on. So I even had to trim that to clear certain areas. Now I tried to line this lip up the best I could from using things like this, and I think there's like a little tab mark on the actual lip itself to show where the center is and to line it up with the center of my bumper, just to make sure it's not shifted to the side in any way. So it looks pretty aligned, and one side of the lip to the bumper, it measures perfect, but the other side, which I already have filmed in this video, you can probably see it right now, is just too long. I don't think this is something I did. I think it's just, this is what happens when you buy eBay lip kits that come out of a mold, and just the way it's curved there, I don't think it'd be a better idea just to chop it off. So I kept it. I put some spacing in there for durability on the screw, and it seems fine. No one seems to notice it until I point it out, and the tire doesn't reach it, so. And next we move on to the Bbs wheels. Originally what I had on here was the Talladega wheels, which were a special edition wheel. It was a super aero wheel, but it came in the 5x110 bolt pattern for Saab, instead of the 4-bolt pattern for the older Saabs. But when I put them on, they really tucked. I was hoping they would push further out than my original stock 16-inch wheels, but the offset was exactly the same. Point is though, they really tucked. So what I ended up doing, because I wanted to keep the wheels, is I got wheel adapters. You can call them wheel spacers if you want. If you have 10 lug nuts or lug nut studs or mix match 10 per hub, that's an adapter. So I got 5x110 to 5x110 adapters. The front I put on 1.5 inches, and the rear I put on 2-inch to try and give it a more oomph look. But I don't recommend doing that. That's a lot of adapter. Car didn't handle any better, and I knew it was potentially a little bit more unsafe. And at that point, when you have to do that, it's like maybe you should just get better fitted wheels if you want that kind of offset. So I decided to do that, except I couldn't find anything. I want to stay with 16-inch wheels because I live in Los Angeles, and the roads out here suck, and I don't want to have to worry about the roads. I want cushion. FYI, if you want to upgrade your brakes to this car, you kind of need to have to run 17s because they won't clear 16s. So I sealed my fate with that. But to find a 16 I wanted was hard because the original ones are 16x6. Okay, 16x6. I would like a wider one, so like 16x8 would be real nice. But to find a 16x8 in a 5-lug pattern is really hard. I find a lot in a 4-lug for like Hondas and stuff, but 5-lug is hard. And if you found it in 5-lug, it wasn't our 5-lug pattern. So I decided maybe I need to find cheap 16x8 wheels that have a good offset that are not my bolt pattern, but I find them cheap enough and have them re-drilled. So I present to you what the BMW boys like to call them, the Style 5. These wheels come off a BMW 7 Series. Specs, that is a 16x8. Offset is 23, and the weight, I believe, was 18 pounds each. This is gonna be hard to picture, but imagine my original one. Okay, here's the width of the wheel, right? Putting it like to the car. So 16x6 at a 49 offset. It's really tucked in, okay? But now I have 16x8, it's out further, and an ET23 offset, which pushes the wheel out further. That's how much of a difference. I've gained 2 inches further out just by changing the wheel. You add that up, that means the front wheel is actually sticking out further than the original wheel was with the spacer. But it's okay because the wheel is so much wider that it's kind of stretched the tire. I know I filmed that earlier trying to show that. I'm going to put that in right here. But you can see the tire is slightly stretched, and it does curve up enough to clear the fender if it ever comes to bottom out. Wait, I forgot one more thing. Not that it matters because I don't think anyone else is going to do this, but I didn't even think to check the brake caliper clearance. There's like that much clearance on the front. Whew. I lucked out on that. And last but not least, this spoiler, which is not available in the United States. From what I think I know, there are only 2 spoilers available in the US for this car, or that come on this car. You got the regular turbo one, which sits flat, flush onto the actual hatch, or you get the Viggen one, which is raised, but it's got like its own separate piece here that bolts on, and then the Viggen spoiler bolts onto the sides of that, and kind of has like this lift sport type deal. Cool guy, whatever. I refused to put a Viggen spoiler on, but I refused to keep the turbo flat one. I thought about maybe color matching the turbo flat one, but got a better idea. I knew this was in the UK. This is off of an Aero. Yes, there is an Aero version of this car, just not in the United States. So after I found that out and I took a look at it, I love the style of this spoiler. It's like a lifted pedestal style, but it's not too much, but it clearly fits only a certain way on this car. There was a lot of Google Translate and a lot of emails. I had to request that they ship internationally and to name your price. Now here's the thing. The Viggen spoiler, which like I explained, that's the go-to popular thing to get. On average, from when I last checked, because I was considering it because it was the only option, I see them around $300, somewhere around there. I got this, okay, color matched, okay, and shipped to me from Sweden, all right, and it got to me in 4 days for $190. I think the spoiler was like 60-ish bucks, and the rest shipping. Now I know I filmed this too, so I'm gonna insert that here, but you can't just bolt it to the hatch of these cars. There are different mounting points, so I took a lot of time trying to line this sucker up perfectly and locating where I need to drill. I had to drill 4 holes, 2 on each side, and just make sure that it's right where it was supposed to be. And then after that, I used double-sided tape underneath the spoiler pedestal parts, and basically had one shot to put it down in the right position through the holes. Once I got that done, I fastened it up on the inside of the hatch, and then I had to find a way to plug the 3 remaining turbo spoiler holes. Those little clips that you use for, like, you know, your bumpers and stuff that pop in and hold it in place, that's what I went and looked for. I found 3 of them. One of them is different because of the center hole size is different than the 2 outer ones. So I found 3 to fit in there perfectly, and that was kind of a one-shot thing too, because you can't reach from the other side to undo it. So I had to just hope that they fit correctly. And then I also needed to have like a silicone or a water-resistant silicone to put underneath it, so I can ensure that water does not get in there and that those pieces stay on the car and don't fly off. And before I did all this, I color matched the top part of the plastic pieces, so hopefully just try to blend it in with the car. I was not going to fill the holes or anything like that. That's just more work than I really wanted or needed to do for this kind of car. Other than what I've just told you guys, I haven't done much more to the vehicle. I have the clear corners, and I have the clear markers. I had removed the back part of the grille and replaced it with mesh, but then I also wanted to cut out the center of the front part of the grille. So I did that, and then I plasti dipped it black. Because it's chrome, it's not something that you can easily just paint. Put it all back together and threw it back on the car. I also threw in a single-din aftermarket radio. If anyone's interested in seeing a video solely on that so you can do it to your car, let me know. Only downfall of it is I lost steering wheel controls, but I really wanted auxiliary and USB. So as you can see, I haven't really done that much to the car. I wanted it to be questionably stock. But overall, what I really wanted is for it to appear as an Aero version, because of the whole no SE kit on a 3-door and that spoiler. But this whole look does come like this in the UK, and it's called an Aero. Also other small little things, like I have the calipers painted red, I have a tune, stuff like that. But that is the rundown of my Saab 9.3 wannabe Aero, not Viggen. I hope that answers some of your questions or gives you some kind of inspiration. I'll see you guys again soon.